Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to the Dham Good podcast.
Your favorite Hare Krishna lifestyle podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Prema.
And I'm Narayan.
And behind the camera we have Sue
Devi. So, how was everyone's Radhastami? I did want to talk about this because, we don't want to miss it. How was your Radhastami?
It was fine. We went to the temple for a little bit, and it was just...
It was hot.
It was hot. It was packed.
It was crowded.
Couldn't make it to Radha Madhava's side at all.
We need a bigger temple.
Literally.
That's literally my first thought. I was like, we need an upscale, a much bigger temple.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing with the TOVP.
10,000, right? 10,000 people can fit inside comfortably.
And then you've got the different levels too,
right.
So it's good. But it was so nice.
What I was thinking when I was in the temple, I was like, what I'm going to do when I get to the TOVP, I'm going to find a little nook and cranny where I can take darshan of everything and nobody will know where I am. Is there
maybe
a place
that'll
like
work
that?
for the first month or so, because already you've got the TOVP and I think the Times of India or something like that got major attraction. Everyone's gonna be coming to the TOVP, so that little nook and cranny will be yours, and it'll be right next to another nook and cranny from somebody else, who is next to another nook and cranny by somebody else. It's just gonna be pack-lined.
Oh no.
But it'll be pretty.
How was your Radhastami?
Radhastami was great. I felt so inspired by Srimati Radharani. She was vibing. She was giving all her love to everybody. She was like, it's my birthday.
And Darshan's always gorgeous, right?
Darshan was lovely. It was just, went for the feast. It was nice. And, it's so nice that she was so kind enough to be born at midday, so we don't have to fast till midnight. And then we went to the feast, I was with my dad, and then
it's
I was
regular feast too, not we're gonna give you Ekadasi slop.
No, it's just normal, it was really, really great. I did want to bring it up, because that was, last week. Oh yeah, Radhastami. Felt like a month ago already. I'm Radhastami. So it was really nice. I hope you all had a wonderful Radhastami. Please let us know how your Radhastami went. If you had any special stories or reflections, please bring them up in the comment section below. We would love to hear from them, and we will reply too. So that was pretty much it for Radhastami.
So Davey, did you do anything?
Yeah, I went to the temple. It was really hot. I could only bear 30 minutes there.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it was insane. And the whole security system was a bit interesting. So that was... So if I wanted
They're out there doing their best,
I know. If
trying.
I wanted to go back to see Radha again, I would have to go all the way to the Panchatattva entrance, even though I just went through that whole thing. Yeah. There was nowhere to sit down. So
No.
just
No, you a local girl. We don't follow no rules around here. I just bullet through.
I just give up and stay home. Darshan's on TV too.
No, I'm telling you, people are not getting this. You just need to... First of all, I was dressed in some Maharaj Gurukul type clothing. I had a dhoti, and I did the little X-Men thing,
You tie it in the back. It's
yeah, well, I did my own version of that because I didn't want the sides all flapping out.
Oh, yeah.
So I did some new weird wrap, kind of thing that ended in the little crosshatch. And then you just gotta walk up to the guards with the look. It's kind of like... this person means business, they must have seva. They just kind of move out of the way, and it was great. And you just go through, and then they don't give you trouble, it was perfect.
I feel like that only works for white people. It never works for me.
Try it, let's see if that happens.
Okay.
So that was...
So we all had a fairly normal Radhastami. I'm not done being mad about the security.
God bless security. I'm so proud.
That'll be a main topic one day. Security.
Yes, we'll do security on
another
topic.
It's a whole thing in Mayapur.
We get another 50 subscribers, we will do one on security. And if we get to 200 subscribers... If we get to 200 subscribers, Prema Rupa will do a dare.
Only me?
Fine, I'll do a dare too. I'll tell you what. Like, subscribe, comment. Let's get them subscribers up there. And Prema Rupa and I will do any dare.
Not any
dare. We won't do any dares.
I'm not jumping off the TOVP virtual.
We won't do all of the dares, but send us in your dares.
I'm not going to break my neck jumping into God. I'm not jumping. I'm just going to make that clear. Don't ask me to jump.
We will do a dare. 200 subscribers, guys. That's not a lot. Come on. Like, subscribe, share, comment. Do what you got to do. And we will do something that you guys request of us. So, there you go.
Yes.
The next thing that we do have to bring up is our Hare Krishna hot take.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. The Queen done died. And
yeah, how do you feel about that? Because I don't really have anything to say, to be honest with you.
So many emotions. The first thing that goes through my mind.
Because you lived in the UK for
I
a long
love
time,
the UK. I love the Queen.
Yeah.
God bless the Queen. La la la. I don't know the rest of the words, but I'm there. I'm there in spirit. Right? First thing that goes through my mind is, wow, I'm in shock.
Right.
Then the second thing that goes through my mind is, why am I in shock? She was 96 years old.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, I'm in shock.
I know.
I'm in shock.
I heard these people like bawling and crying in front of Buckingham Palace. I'm like, but she's old.
Yeah, like I mean, I'm not dissing. By the way,
No.
I love the Queen. I will
she's
miss the
lovely.
Queen. She, for me, my personal opinion, please don't sue me, was that she was the most dignified monarch, that modern monarch that we had today. Like, I don't really get so much inspiration from the other monarchs that are still currently around, because she was an icon for 70 years. What I found was just, it would have been nice to have a little bit more of a reaction where they're not happy to see her go. I'm pretty sure there's some people who are. But like,
I hear the Irish.
We're
like, woohoo!
Yay! The Scottish are like, yay!
Right?
But like, like I love how in our culture, like, if there's a senior devotee or a senior member who's very close to that time and then he or she goes, it's like, it's very joyful. It's like, Queen Elizabeth had a very long reign. She took care of her people in the best way she could, and there should be like a celebration of her leaving, not like a mourning, Like
It's true.
Right?
Like 96, you should be like, good. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not
good.
like she died at 30,
Yeah, everyone is like,
oh,
wow, great job. Thank you for all your service. Yay. Yeah. And I was seriously trying to Google up some secret, like, there's like Operation Unicorn, Operation London Bridge, and what's going to happen. And I was like, I saw one article, it totally clickbait, 48 things that happen when the Queen dies. I was like, what are they? And it's just stuff like the train here and the train there. And I was thinking like there's going to be some secret passages, and then they're going to alert some international stuff. I wanted to know all the goss.
Right.
But my little website didn't pan out. But it was, I'm really in shock, but I can't believe it. Queen Elizabeth is
no longer.
We grew up like with her, so now we don't have a queen no more. So I don't know what they're gonna make jokes about.
And then there's the king.
King Charles.
The
third.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
some nice things about the Queen, though. Prabhupada said that she's very, like, she's accumulated a lot of good karma to get into that position, and she's very, like, intelligent and whatever. There's, like, an iconic photo, which, if you're watching the video, I'll stick the video, or the picture, but of her, like, getting a Maha garland, and she visited
the
Krishna
school.
Vanti school.
Yes, she did. Yes.
And, so she's got a little, piety.
Yes, that was
which
nice.
is nice.
Did she ever meet Prabhupada? No, right? I don't think so. That would have been cool. No. Yeah. That. I think it was close at one point, but it didn't happen. Something I had heard about that.
Interesting.
I don't know. So that's all we have on the Queen. Let us know what you think about the Queen. Or maybe not. I don't know. That might be a little bit divisive. I might take that back. What's next on our list?
Oh my god. Okay. So I saw this on my Instagram. I don't know if maybe this is not funny. We can cut it out if it's not funny. But somebody posted something in the Metro. Is that a UK?
It's a UK
newspaper?
Well, it's a UK. The Metro. Well, it's
like a new.
Like it's the paper.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So it's like a missed connections. Recently London had Ratha Yatra, right?
Yes.
So
I know
they wrote something. Somebody wrote something. I thought it was cute. I'm like, get your gopi, okay? Like, watch. Okay, I'm gonna read it with an English accent. To the girl wearing Okay, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I have like
Wait
a bad
minute.
English accent.
Can I just
Dude,
process
guy
that?
wearing a pink skirt and a green sari at the London Ratha Yatra.
What are you, Queen Elizabeth II?
Well, I felt like it was an English newspaper, so I should read it with an English accent.
Yes, I'm down for it. Go.
But you know, okay, so like they say that when you do an accent, you're not imitating the accent, you're imitating the person you heard the accent from. So like, I have a friend who's from Manchester, so now it's just like a horrible Manchester accent.
That's not a Manchester accent at all. Like,
real bad.
See, now I'm doing it. Like, what did you hear?
So he wrote, to the girl wearing a pink skirt and green sari at the London Ratha Yatra celebration at Trafalgar Square on Sunday. We talked, but I would like to get to know you more. Would you prefer a tea date at Watford's Hare Krishna temple? Signed, orange polo shirt. Get her.
Oh my God, get her. What? Shout out, yes.
That's so cute.
I want to know the end of this story.
Right?
You know who you is. I want to hear this.
Come on, pink skirt, green sari.
Pink skirt, green sari. Pink skirt, green sari.
I think she might have wearing like a pink petticoat. Yeah.
Okay.
With a green, which is a cute combination.
Nice for Ratha Yatra. Not bad. Orange polo.
Watch out, she was like just trying to sell me books. So she was just being nice. That's what I was like. I'll bet she was like, I really like your orange shirt. And then, by the way, here's a book.
Orange
and he
polo.
was like, I'm wearing that orange polo you like.
It must be true.
You must really like it.
I want to hear the end of this story. I want to hear how this pans out. Orange polo, I am rooting for you. Go get her.
I just had to share this
That's
with you guys
really
because
good.
I thought it was
I like
cute,
that.
right?
That's cute. That's really cute. Is it misconnections means... Wait, was it on the
It's
Metro?
not called misconnections, but it was on the in the paper.
Oh yes, because on the subway sometimes you get clips of the I think I'm thinking wrong, but you would see clips of that all on the subway when you're going to work. You would see stuff like that, or they'd write. I don't remember. I don't know if it's misconnections, but it was. I remember there was like a period of that. It was good. That was really nice. That was really really nice. So, what's our next?
So let's talk about our getting to know you question.
Okay.
And this one is, what is your biggest pet peeve?
So many things irritate me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know which one is the worst. The first one off the top of my head right now driving in Mayapur is I'm driving on the road.
Yeah.
And he's driving on the road. And we are driving on the same side of the road, which we should not be driving on. And I have 2 seconds to swerve before I break my neck on the road. And that is a big pet peeve of mine.
Right.
Then I have to swerve on the other side of the road.
Right.
And then it happens the same. It's just like a chain reaction. That really irritates me.
I have that issue like coming into your place.
Smoothly.
So I was coming from the temple, and then there was a guy, I think he was a milkman or something, and he was coming in the same direction. Okay, so I'm trying to get around him to swoop into your building, and he's like also going this way, but for no reason. Just to, like, he has no reason to cross the road. He's going straight. But for some reason, he's decided to also
like swerve along with you.
So I was like, I'm just going to overtake him. And then he got mad at me.
I need to put a little camera when I see you come into like my building.
For real?
See how this.
And watch me come out and stand there for 10 minutes weeping like, I can't get out.
And people, okay, you know what? I have a pet peeve. I'm gonna tell this to like the local community here in India. Why don't they accept change? It, like, you know when you say keep the change?
Yeah.
They will not keep it.
Yeah.
They will not keep it.
No.
They will not keep it at all. I went to
They
Navadwip.
feel like indebted to you afterwards. It's crazy.
For 2 rupees?
Yeah.
For 2 rupees.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe like my change is like insulting. But I went to Navadwip and I did my shopping. I was there, I think, a couple days ago. I went to Navadwip and I went and bought chilies and I went and bought spices and I went and bought rope and I went and bought little clay pot things. When I go to Navadwip, I go psycho. I'm like some mama in the house with my bag that was like this big full of stuff, and I was bargaining and stuff. And I think I went and bought some clay pots or something. There was some clay pots being bought. Then I go and I get the change, and he's like, he gives literally back 2 rupees change or 3 rupees. And I'll keep the change.
Yeah.
No. I'm like, keep it. And I'm trying to walk away. And He's like getting up to like chase me down the alley for like 3 rupees. Like, just take the change, you know? Like it's a weird kind of thing. Like in America or whatever, you like keep the change, and it's like a nice relationship. Oh, thank you, you know?
You keep it in a little place, and then somebody else may need the change, and you have that little...
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
It's like a whole thing, you know? Like over here, it's like, change? Yeah. How dare you? I just sold you from the bottom of my heart. I didn't change. You know? So, yeah, I didn't... That's one of my pet peeves. Like, take the change.
And they don't want to take it. That happened to me once. I remember I took a rickshaw, and it was 5 rupees at the time. This was years ago. And I only had 10 rupees. So I was like, all right, just take the 10. I gotta go. I'm in a rush. And every time he saw me, he's like, Mataji! Like, he's just so happy. I gave him 10 rupees. Like it was just such a, like, you know, he did the whole, no. I was like, look, I can't even talk to you. I gotta go, you know? Like, it's such a thing. Like,
it's true.
Or some people, like, like you said, they get insulted. I remember my husband, like, bargained something. And then I said, you know what, just pay him the full price for the thing. Who cares?
Oh, no, don't tell him that.
You know what I mean? And then he was just, like, was upset. Like, I just bargained with you about this. Like, and now you're going to pay me full price.
Yeah, that's annoying. You're right.
You're right, I'm the worst. Just kidding, I'm kidding.
So what are your pet peeves? We would love to know. Like, seriously, I would love to know what are some of the pet peeves. If you live in Mayapur, I would love to commiserate with you. Let us know in the comment section below. What are the top 3 things that really peeve you off, either here or wherever you live?
You know what my number 1 thing is?
What's your number 1 thing?
Yeah, I'm gonna lose subscribers over this. I will have no friends in Mayapur.
Okay, she'll do 2 dares.
I'll tell you what it is.
Oh God, am I ready?
You're not.
Oh my God.
You're not ready for this. I don't like when people cut the line. I can't stand when people cut the line. See, I told you. I know you're a line cutter. I know you're a line cutter. I
don't have time.
We have
for
a
the
system,
line.
okay?
No.
It only goes fast if everyone follows the system. If you wanted to be in front of the line, you should have gotten there earlier. You wait in the line like everybody else.
This is not Germany. This is not Germany.
No, it's worse.
No, this is a culture of non-lineness, okay? So it's acceptable to just rock up there. Yes.
It's not.
I mean, it's not. But it's done.
It's not acceptable because I'm waiting.
Why not? Okay.
I'm waiting.
I go to the Mahaprasad store.
Yes.
There is a line.
Where it says there's a line, stand in the line.
I don't care about no line. Listen. Listen. I will tell you. There is a line from here all the way to the cows coming home. And I just want to know if they have samosas. I'm supposed to wait for 200 people in a nice little organized file line to find out if they have or don't have samosas before I go home.
They have the you can see though.
Yeah, but because there's a line, you have to cut the line.
No, you just go look, see, and then get in the line.
There ain't no space.
How could there be no space if you make a nice line?
Or what if I want to go up to the counter and I just want to get 1 laddu and go? Some people be like, I want 3 samosas, I want 1 plate of this, 1 pizza, I want a cupcake, give me my 1 laddu, here's my 5 rupees, I'm out.
You stand in the line?
I don't believe in the line. Not in India. In India, I'm sorry, I don't believe in the line.
See? I told you, I was like, I'm losing friends for this.
I don't believe.
I think we'll lose.
You're right. I know. So why don't you cut the line as well?
I can't.
Join the dark side.
No, it weighs heavily on my heart. It literally does. Like, it's just a false sense of entitlement to think that you could just skip ahead of everybody else because you're so much better. Like, nobody else has anything else to do. Right?
No.
Just you. Are you, like, so important that you can get ahead of everybody? No.
Okay, that's
everybody
annoying.
else has things to do.
No, that's annoying.
Okay?
I only
but
cut
you telling me you're a booty man, and I say, booty man, can you get behind me? And booty man says, I'm old. I'm old too.
No, Burima needs to have priority.
No.
I'm pro Burima.
No.
I'm pro Buro Buri.
No.
If you are sitting there with your nicely young self and you see this question mark shaped old grandma, you know, hobbling over, Margie goes straight through. She's gonna order like 2 things because she can't chew anyways, and she's gonna go. That's it. Burima can go.
So,
Burima, you see?
if we get in the line, it will go much faster if we just stay in the line and go through the line.
But that's never what happens.
Right, because nobody follows it. That's why I'm angry.
No, because the people behind the counter are taking their sweet time.
This is the issue also.
This is the issue.
When you go to Mahaprasadam or whatever, oh my god, especially now. Before they were kind of fast, but like now, there's
no
some
pressure.
new people
There's
and
no
they're
pressure.
just like, what?
I actually love them.
like,
if they're watching this, they're gonna hate me and they're never gonna serve me again. They're gonna spit in my face.
Oh, I'm telling you right now, if you skip the line, there's a place in hell for you.
No.
Yes.
I will be there and I will take you to the nice place.
I will tell you.
Because skipping
right
the line,
now,
sometimes it's
people
necessary.
Who skip the line, there's a place in hell where you eternally have to use the bathroom and you have to wait in a line and everyone just skips in front of you.
I will pee right there.
So I'm just letting you know right now. We don't skip the line in front of me.
We need a cut.
So, Davey, do you have a pet peeve?
Oh yeah. So Davey, what is your pet peeve? I want to hear.
The staring. I hate when
Oh,
people
and
stare
you're
at me.
white, so it's worse.
I hate when people stare at me. I can't. It makes me uncomfortable. Even if I'm in my own room and I feel like someone's staring at me, I hate it. I can't.
And,
Okay, maybe that's a little bit too extreme because if you're in your room, who's watching you?
No, like if my windows are open, I can't have that.
What
Like
you
I
do?
don't open my windows ever.
Ever? So there's no
Ever.
sunlight in your room?
Nope.
You mean like people staring at you?
Yeah, just like.
So like you
people
grew
looking at
up
me.
here and you're not like accustomed to that or
Nope.
anything like that. Interesting.
Nope.
Because I always thought like eventually you just sort of get accustomed to it and you ignore it.
I mean, yeah, you ignore it, but doesn't mean like I still don't hate it.
Interesting.
Because I just know that with some people's intentions, you just feel the energy
Mm.
that they give off, and it just makes me very uncomfortable.
But is there actually someone looking at you?
Yes,
or do you
yes,
imagine
no,
that
they
there should be
are.
somebody
Yes,
looking at you?
Every
They
time I
are.
go out,
Yeah. No, I
either
know.
Okay,
get
for
cat
women, yes.
calls-
Because
Yeah,
she's
for
got
women.
like the
Yeah.
blonde hair. She's got the I don't know what color your eyes are.
Why
but they're
nobody
not brown.
catcalling me?
You
I'm
a
cat
man.
called.
You a man.
That's so
You don't wanna be
sexist.
catcalled. Sad.
Man, the hell.
Okay.
It's scary.
Let's
I get
move
that.
on.
I get that.
Our main topic for today is therapy.
I love that. And keep
I don't
it
know how
going.
else to introduce that. So today's main topic is therapy. Let's talk a little bit about therapy. I have no idea how to even begin the topic. I thought it would be an interesting idea to discuss therapy, just in general, right? I had a friend of mine who told me that that devotee was taking therapy, and I was like, that's interesting. That's something you don't really hear a lot in our community circle, and once
And it's interesting that it was a topic of discussion too.
Yes. Yeah, it was just something that had come up. And when I did a little bit of research more, and I found out that, generally it's not something that's really taken into, people don't like to talk about it in our community, people don't like to talk about it out of our community, and what triggered it was really seeing Queen Elizabeth passing away, and everyone is they have nowhere to put their grief anywhere, and I was like, man, these people need some therapy. So I thought it would be interesting to discuss, what does therapy mean for people in our community, or for listeners, or for you? What do you consider to be therapy? We hear that word and we think oh my God, am I damaged? I would never admit to going to therapy. There's some people are like that, some people who struggle with problems. They don't want to get therapy. They don't think that they should. We have I just thought it was a really interesting topic to discuss. What does therapy mean to you? What brings you peace? Because that's what therapy is in the end, right? You have tension, or you have... I think therapy is even for people who are having a great time. How do you take all that amazing time you're having in your life and then funnel it into something productive? I think therapy is not just for people who are broken, but that's you could be having the best time of your life and you go to therapy to help really refine how you funnel all of your life's energies into where you want to go. I don't know, what does therapy mean to you?
When you're talking about our community, you mean Mayapur, or you mean the Vaishnava community?
I guess the Vaishnava community, I have never heard it. Vaishnavas were supposed to be very, what do we say? One of the 6 devotee relationships is revealing your heart in confidence and inquiring submissively. And if you actually look at it a little more analytically, it is actually the last coupling of that verse. You give gifts, you receive gifts, you get prasadam, you receive prasadam, and then the last 2 are revealing your heart and confidence. So it's the most, when you're confiding in someone, when you have a friend, when you have a mentor, when you're sharing your heart with someone, you really are connecting. That's the whole basis of what our Sangha is all about, you know. But when it comes to what we call therapy, it's like it's not talked about. It's like everything's good, everything is perfect, like, you know. What does therapy mean for you?
Or you should be like, I know there's a very old school thinking, like you just have to chant more, read together, you know, like you're not doing enough seva together in order to, you know, like I'm just thinking about like
no, I imagine. I mean, I imagine for some people that is therapy.
You need to be going to Mongol arti or whatever, and it's like, but that's not. Then you're actually committing an offense, you know, when you're thinking that this is a material issue and you'll solve it with something that's spiritual. Like a side effect of like chanting or whatever is a mitigation of like material karma and whatever, right?
Yes.
But you don't do something with the intent of mitigating a material issue.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that's like I'm saying, like that's a very old school way of thinking. It's like, oh, you need to go to Mongol arti every day. You need to chant more rounds. You need to read more Bhagavatam or something. When it really should be like, you need to talk to a professional who knows how to like investigate your brain.
So that's one thing that I was like, so one thing that my friend was saying is like, yeah, speak to a professional that knows how to investigate your brain. And we get very like, about that, right? But I've often thought that for me, therapy is mostly about having a conversation. Like, as you were saying, you know, you'll have somebody who back in the old days, through, I wouldn't really say no fault of their own, it's just what they knew in those days. Exactly. You have a problem, you chant.
Yeah.
And that worked for them, but that was their generation and they had their troubles. And now we have ours and we work quite differently. You know, there isn't really much of a conversation happening between people. It's like conversation as devotees, but you're still a person. Like, you know, I would consider reaching out to a friend and saying, hey homegirl, hey homeboy, you know, this is going down, do you have time to talk, as therapy, you know? And it's just that human conversation that I don't think we have a lot, you know. On Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja, my dad was talking about exactly this point, right? We reach out and help our brothers, our sisters in the community, not just waiting for them to ask us to be a part of their lives, but actually making an effort to say, hey, how you doing? What's up? Because, you know, my dad's one of those kind of, you know, everyone kind of loves my dad, and they always come up to him, and he always is somebody that you can always go up to and speak to. But he always makes the effort to go forward, and he was talking a lot about this sort of mission, you know, don't wait to be asked, get out there and kind of find out what's going with your fellow neighbor, with your fellow brother, fellow sister. I don't think we do that a lot, but I was wondering, this topic of therapy, like, what does therapy mean to you? Again, please tell us in the comments below, like, what do you think therapy means to our society? Is it speaking to a professional? Is it speaking to a friend? Could it be cooking? I tell you, I be cooking sometimes. I be cleaning the kitchen and I be feeling therapized. I tell you, my crusty, dusty, busty, musty kitchen, I be sweeping when I'm angry. I'm like, Arr! Kitchen is clean and I feel at peace with the world. So, what does therapy mean? Like, what does it for you? What's your take?
I think therapy is, I mean, here's the thing, so I'll tell you this, in college I went to therapy, because I was going through a lot, and it was free, so I thought to go to therapy. I hated it, because the lady just stared at me the whole time.
Wow.
You know? I know that's not common for therapy, there's different kinds of therapy, and whatever therapy she was doing was just to stare at me.
Literally just staring at you?
Literally, like, go. And then I have to just sit there and talk, but I'm like, what do I talk about? How do I express myself? Like, and then she'd just be like, okay, and then write something down. Okay, write something down. And I'm like, you know, after a few sessions, I was like, this isn't really going anywhere.
Right, it's like, it's a little bit too much psychological evaluation.
It was like, yeah, so it was kind of weird. I didn't love that. And there are devotee therapists. I remember I tried a devotee therapist too. Didn't love that either.
Why do you think that? I'm being like a therapist myself. Why do you think that is? Because I felt the exact same way. I'd be like, I cannot trust somebody who is not from my community background to understand me as clearly as somebody who was a devotee does.
We're very judgmental people.
But that's the other problem.
We think that they're imposing a judgment on us without actually hearing us. You know, like hearing what
is that the case?
I think so. I mean, the lady was very nice. You know, and I don't think I think it just wasn't for me. You know? I do feel now that I'm older, I need therapy that's not staring at me and writing on a paper. My brother-in-law is a therapist. My sister is working on her master's to become a therapist.
Oh, that's nice.
So the kind that he does is, it's a little different.
Okay. How does that go?
It's called DBT. Dialectic, I will place it here, sorry. Behavioral therapy. And basically, it is a little bit more responsive, you know, where they look into the depths and you learn a lot. It's very meditative, actually. It's like a lot about mindfulness and analyzing like your emotions and what triggers you and trying to really like unknot all the things that's going on in your brain and your heart. So that's interesting to me, you know.
I find that fascinating.
It's great, you know, and like, so I personally would love to do therapy, especially postpartum after I had a baby. I was having a lot of like.
Is that like a real thing? Like, you know, like you like, I've heard postpartum depression, like, and I've struggled to comprehend what that means. Like your baby's with you, like. What is that depression about? Like, did you feel that?
I did. Well, I mean,
if I may.
I do. No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm totally open about almost everything. So, like, I do have, like, general, like, depression and anxiety already. Which are just... No, it is what it is. I mean, that's a whole other thing. But, like, that's not part of this discussion, I guess. We're talking about therapy. But, like, with postpartum depression, it was because having a baby is such a different change from who I identified myself as, and then you just sort of lose yourself all of a sudden, you know? So like
when you give birth.
Yeah. So I'm like trucking along in my life. I'm Prema Rupa, I'm a comedian, I'm a dancer, I'm a actress, I'm all this stuff, and then I have a baby. And suddenly, I can't do any of that stuff anymore. My whole life is dedicated to this baby. You literally, for the first 6 weeks, you're like a cow.
Really?
Really. You're just sitting there and nursing them and putting them to sleep. You know, and it's morning to night, night to morning, and you just kind of see yourself sinking
into a routine that is totally new to you.
No, like myself, it's like sinking into a quicksand. You know, like I'm losing myself, and I'm just like this cow. Like I'm just a cow. Like, you know, like.
And this is common.
Yeah, very common.
Wow.
Very common because it's not who I am. Like so then there's this whole new Prema Rupa that I had to find where it's like I'm all this stuff, and I'm also a mom. You know.
I see. And
kind of marry those two things of myself together. So.
I see.
But that was very hard in the beginning where I had this new body that I was struggling with, you know, because I had to have a C-section. I was always on bed rest. So, you know, when I had gotten pregnant, I was like, my body was the best it had ever been. I mean, I wasn't a skinny mini, but I was voluptuous. I was happy. I liked the shape. Like,
you didn't feel that sinking knowing that you were going to have the baby?
No. I mean, I love my daughter. I don't regret having her. It was nothing like that. It was just my identity. Like, just everything about me was just disappearing, and I felt like I couldn't find myself again. So, you know, I gained so much weight, and then with the pandemic, I gained more weight, and having to be on bed rest, I gained more weight. And it was just like I had anxiety, like every time I met someone, I wanted to like show an old picture of myself and be like, this is what I really look like. I don't actually look like this, where I look like a giant like brown marshmallow or whatever, you know?
And that's
like
all after the birth.
All that's after, yeah.
Do you think the birth triggers that? Like
maybe.
Can't even imagine childbirth, my goodness.
I mean, mine was great.
Really?
It really went well because I had a C-section. It was all planned.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So it wasn't like, you know, traumatizing like other people. But still, just the whole change, the whole shift in identity was a lot. And I think that's kind of where that comes. And then there's like this feeling of like loneliness, I guess, in a weird way.
I guess only a mother would know what it's like to be a mother.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to find some relatability to that.
Yeah.
In a way that actually helps you feel less. That's what I was talking about, therapy, right? One of my friends long ago was really into the idea of opening up like, what do they call it? Talk groups? You know, like where like-minded people, what do they call it? When people get together like in a circle, not in like a Alcoholics Anonymous, but kind of like share group like a group share talk group kind of thing, you know, like let's say if it's a talk group, I forget the word,
but not like Alcoholics Anonymous.
No, not Alcoholics Anonymous,
but like some other kind of
like a group talk therapy thing for people who have the same thing they want to talk about. Is it group therapy?
Group therapy, maybe. They have the same issue and they all talk
they have the same issue and they kind of like not in a therapy way.
Okay.
I mean, I was just analyzing like what does therapy mean? You know, like you went to a professional who was supposedly an expert at all that, didn't feel that great. You went to a devotee who didn't feel that great.
Yeah. But this was a long time ago.
I think teachings and methods have changed a lot to incorporate the individuality. But I'll tell you one funny thing. What I always found interesting, my dad was taking a counseling course, right? He is accredited with a UK system. He did a whole counseling thing. And one of the things he was saying, because I like to learn this kind of stuff too, he said, you never give a solution to your patient, right?
Right.
That's not... In fact, I was having a discussion with my dad about this just the other day. Right? You never give a solution to someone. They're not ready to handle it. Right? They come to you, and you help them find the answers themselves. Which got me thinking. If I already have the solution within myself, then who cares what the external therapist is? Right? Does it matter that we need to feel judged? Shouldn't we just go out there and just talk? Of course, it doesn't work out that way. But if you already have the solution within yourself, then therapy is nothing more than just a conversation with yourself, I guess, right?
Yeah.
You know? Then you already...
But then there's somebody on the outside that sort of says, well, what about this threat? You know?
But you already know it. So do you already know what you have to do?
No. Like, okay,
right?
so I'll
it's
tell
confusing.
you, for example, like with the postpartum depression, right? And it's like 2 years out at this point, and I'm still feeling like super depressed and super not myself. And I didn't know what it was tied to, you know, like, was it some kind of weird afterwards postpartum depression? Was it some other kind of, like, it was, I don't know, I was feeling really, I wanted to lose weight. That's what the thing was.
Okay.
Was I needed to lose the 100 pounds I gained from having a baby and sitting in COVID. And all of my horrible eating habits that I constantly develop.
I hear you there.
Oh, man. I
preaching to the choir.
Love eating.
Me too. And you know what? I'm even worse because I don't care anymore. Like, I have thrown caution to the wind. But I hear you. I hear you. I really do.
But it was just like, I just felt very stuck. Like, I couldn't ever lose weight. I couldn't even try. I didn't have the energy to try. I didn't have the motivation to try. And then I wondered, like, is it a depression thing? Is it a health thing, like a physical health thing?
Like
is
habits? Is it karma?
Do I have like a eating disorder where I can't stop eating for some reason? I really wanted to see a therapist. I looked into it. It's $200 for 45 minutes. I don't have $200 for 45 minutes. I don't. Most people don't. What am I supposed to do? I ended up seeing my doctor, who was covered under my insurance, and then it was like a thyroid issue. So once I fixed the thyroid issue, my brain started to work a little bit better.
Okay, I see.
You know?
Okay.
Because I thought, let me just check it's not a physical thing first. And if it's not a physical thing, then it's definitely a mental thing. And I need to shell out that.
Or an emotional thing or something.
Yeah.
It's like
I need to shell out the money for the therapist, you know?
Yes.
But then she was like, oh, you have a thyroid issue. You just take this medicine, you'll be okay. And after a few weeks, I felt a little bit more myself, you know? Okay. But at that time, it was just like fog. Nothing was working. I had all these weird eating issues, like, that stem back from childhood. Like, it was nuts.
It's funny the things we carry from our childhood, right? It's like, so what does therapy mean for you now? How do you, like, what do you do?
To therapize?
Yeah.
I am an avid journaler.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for saying that. Oh my God, you're like the first person I have met who
really?
Actually. So I believe in journaling 1,000%.
Yeah.
You can't afford a therapist. You got one right in you.
Yeah.
The benefits of journaling changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
It was 2016. I was also overweight.
2016.
Really?
Yeah.
2016.
I mean, like, I always kind of journaled here and there my whole life, but I, like, really stuck with it in 2016.
Journaling is sacred for me.
Yes.
Like, I have my journals here. I invested in some good
I wish
journals.
we were talking about journaling, because I could have brought my
Let's just
journal.
change the main topic.
And we could have been like, "Hey, journals," and you can see how cute mine is.
I have mine here. They're how cute. We can do like a little play date with our journals. I love journaling. I just wanted somewhere to like express what was going in, and it suddenly became a conversation with myself.
Yeah.
And then suddenly I was talking to myself, and I was getting detail that I would not have had from my mind because thoughts go in and out of my ear.
In your
because my
brain,
mind
it's
is,
like this. You know.
There's not enough time. It's like sitting at the restaurant and the food comes on your plate, and then the very same second it disappears. You don't even have time to pick it up and chew it. But when you're journaling, you're literally sitting with that emotion or that memory. Like, sometimes I'll be like, I don't even remember what I did. When I went with my parents, we were in Korea, South Korea, and we went and visited the North Korea, the wall.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And I journaled that whole day. I forgot about it, but I opened my journal, and the detail is all back there. And I remember it all, and it's great to come back to. Guys, like I'm telling you, journaling in a moment of depression, anger, grief, happiness, whatever
or
emotion.
just as a means of, this is what I did today, just as a matter of record keeping.
A lot of people say it's not journaling unless it's deep. I'm a little bit in that crowd, but I've learned to evolve into the idea that it doesn't matter what you write about, just let it be heartfelt, right? That means different things for different people. I'm so glad you said this, because I've been finding it so hard to journal recently. Like, I've gone frozen for like about a good year, year and a half, 2 years. I used to journal all the time. I used to spend like a good half an hour, 1 hour journaling. You know, now it's like I can barely pick up the pen, but it's really nice that you said that. Like, you've motivated me to go write again. Like, I did not believe you were gonna say that.
Really?
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say some stuff like,
I meditate,
I read, you know,
no,
whatever.
I'm not doing no meditation.
Get a massage, or you know, I cook some special meal my mama taught me as a kid, or whatever. You know, like journaling is like amazing. I love that. What are your ways to therapize? We have a lot of questions for you guys, so get to work. So please feel free to comment in the section below. What are your ways to therapize? And let us know. We might even take a leaf out of your book. Like, what about you, Sudevi? What do you do?
Should we
for
make
therapy?
a segment like that one day, though? Like, to talk about journaling?
Okay.
just a little segment. I don't think anyone wants an hour of journaling.
Yeah, I know.
But like 10 minutes so I can like show off my cute little book.
I have my book. I have my journals.
Wish I brought mine.
Okay, next episode we'll just figure something out.
Okay.
I'm down for it.
Why do you feel like people are mostly embarrassed to admit that they need therapy?
Because then people think that they're a psycho. Like, when I went to therapy, my parents thought I was crazy.
Because they pity you, right? That's what I would imagine if I were to say, I took therapy. And everyone does the whole... It's like, what do you say to somebody that says, I do therapy? Like...
Yeah. I'd say great.
Exactly. Great. Right?
Because, you know what, there's some things that you can talk with your friend with, and it kind of... But then if you're like me, where it was just like, I'm in this weird depression hole and I can't figure myself out. Like, they can't figure it out. But it's also very vulnerable.
It's a very vulnerable admission, right? If I tell you I'm going for therapy, I'm basically admitting a flaw within myself. Yeah. Or not a flaw within myself, because we are all flawed. That is the reality. You are admitting a flaw in the facade of perfection which we are driven to present, to put out there, exactly, right? Whereas saying I go to therapy should be something the same as saying I go to the gym and work out. It's like, whether you are healthy or unhealthy, going to the gym is great for you. Therapy is nothing more than you massaging your emotions and getting them strong and fit for the rest of your life to continue. It's not... Some people need to go to the gym for rehabilitation for certain muscles because they do have something broken or hurt or injured. And, you know, doing the whole stretching, the whole walking, you know, that's part of it. But it's just moving a muscle. We can't get beyond the physical. And we're not getting into the conversations of the mental, the conversations of the emotional, to get to the real spiritual, the deep meaning of what the spiritual conversations we all surround ourselves with every day, because, you know, our Krishna consciousness is meant to be applied in our personal lives outward. So I think people feel a lot of, you know, some people won't understand that, you know, like people can listen. There are even people who will be listening to this podcast and going, and still might not understand how to deal with someone when they say, I do therapy. So it's a great place to talk about it, you know. If somebody's telling you, I went to therapy, give them that motivation. Yeah. If you have therapy, be more comfortable sharing it out. It will only inspire you to really absorb that therapy more. Like, I'm all for it.
I love your example of the gym. Because no one's like, I'm going to the gym.
Oh my God. Where else am I supposed to go?
You know? Like, when someone's like, I'm going to the gym, you're like, great.
Great,
oh
good job. Look
you
at you. You got your arms. Oh, have you been working out?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Or some people are like trying to maintain that weight or that physique.
Yes, exactly.
Like, you may not have anything really wrong with you in that moment, but you still go to therapy
exactly.
to just keep up that
Or just like, you know, I go to
great.
gym once a week to keep myself circulation, you know, a little bit healthy. It's like, it's different shades.
Yeah.
But I think it's the word therapy. It's just loaded. Like,
should we give it a different name?
What do we... Okay, we're making history, folks. What are we calling therapy? We're calling...
I don't know. I wish
Hey, you brought it up.
Communication.
Heart work. Or like something like... hard work is hard work. Vote for me. Like, I don't know. I think the word therapy just sounds so clinical. That's what it is, right? It sounds so cold. It sounds so I'm going for therapy. You know, like it's not like aromatherapy. You know, that sounds really nice. You know, like, but I don't know. That something about that word just invites a very cold feeling of sickness, of brokenness, of wrongness, of abnormality. When the reality is hey, we go through that. We get sick, you know? You say, I'm sick, I went to the doctor, everyone's like, oh, I hope you get better, you know? It's like, but somehow we don't reach that in our emotions. We don't have very good self-talk. We don't have very good inner conversations in between each other, too. It's like, I'm trying to impress you, and you're trying to impress you, and we're all trying to impress each other. So if I say I'm taking therapy, I go, ooh, you know, it's like, so no, I don't buy it. Sorry, that didn't answer your question at all.
What was the question? Oh, why do people not like therapy?
No, changing the word.
Oh, changing the word therapy? What was your question? Changing the word therapy. Brain exercise.
Well, you let us know if you have different word for therapy and what that would mean to you. Please, again, let us know in the description box. Not in the description box. In the comments below. And with that, we'll move on to our next segment.
Yeah. Let's move on to some sage advice.
Some sage advice. Okay.
So, someone asked us, they wanted to talk a little bit more about why relationships don't work out, what's the significance of astrology and doing charts for devotees who want to get married, talk about Mangalik dosha and remedies.
I love this.
Some people say we can just surrender to Krishna without worrying about these ritualistic things, but then I know it's good to take some precautions too. How do we reconcile this?
Okay, do you want to take lead on that one? Do you want to get in there?
I mean, I don't really.
I love this topic. Like, I love this topic.
I think if you're already in a relationship, like, I wouldn't worry about astrology, right? But if you're looking for somebody, it might be something to consider.
I mean, I'm full on the astrology. Mm-hmm. I have always been an astrology fan. I was the weird kid looking up at the skies while everyone was like, I loved it. I want my telescope.
By the way, I had an idea that we should do our chart as a topic.
As a topic?
Yeah, like bring somebody in. I
have the books.
And read our charts.
Oh my God, yes.
Wouldn't that be great?
That would be amazing.
Okay.
Oh my
Not
God.
today.
Yeah.
Not today. We have ideas though.
So you got the journaling one.
Yes.
Now I got astrology. Yes, why not? Let's do our charts. That would be so fun.
The three of us get our charts done and see what it says.
I'm down.
You'll see it'll say cooking and I'll be like, I can't cook!
That'll be your dare. Like, you have to make a 3-layered birthday cake. I love astrology. Man, we do not have enough time for me to get on about how much astrology is useful in our lives. Mm-hmm. I can already see we've lost some subscribers going, But let me tell you, like, so what was the question?
It's
why
like,
relationships don't work out?
Why do they not work out? The significance of astrology? Or do we just sort of let Krishna figure it out?
I mean, yes. So the answer is a little bit more complex than a simple yes or a simple no.
Yeah.
But it is yes and it is no, right? So relationships don't work out. Okay, where does astrology come in? The best place for astrology in a relationship is before you begin. Really.
Yeah.
You're in a 10-year marriage, you know, you've got nothing left but putting the hard work in.
Yeah.
You're with that partner, okay? Astrology is useful to the point that you can't surrender to Krishna enough. Because if you really do surrender to Krishna, why down about astrology, right? Don't be saying surrender to Krishna, but inside you really know that you want Krishna to take care of the problem for you. That's not surrendering to Krishna.
So just quickly, for me and for whoever's watching, what is a Mangalik dosha?
Okay, Mangalik dosha. So Mangal is a Sanskrit name for Mars.
Yeah.
Right? Mangal or Kuja. You'll hear these two. Kuja dosha, Mangalik dosha. What Mangalik dosha does is, if Mars is in one of 5 houses in your chart, it will create an effect on your marriage unless it's in a specific sign that cancels it out. This is one of the most looked at chart combinations because it affects marriage. And obviously, our Vedic system is all about finding out good marriage partners so that we can have good children, good happy marriages, la 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 la. So what Mangal dosha does, Mangal is all about, is the Mars, is the masculine planet, right? So what Mangalik does in a marriage is, as a nature, because it doesn't affect your marriage, it affects you, which affects your marriage. What Mangalik does as an effect on you is it removes your ability to be the victimizer in a marriage, right? It makes you the kind of person who, through no fault of your own, you may be victimized in your marriage. So let's say you have the husband is a Mangalik and the wife is not. So the husband you'll see a pattern where you'll see the husband tend to be blamed for things, or he's the one who's going to get left, or he's the one who gets bullied by the wife. So it's this inability to speak for yourself. It's this inability to bring your boundaries because you are that shyer, quieter type, right?
For Mangalik.
For Mangalik. Exactly. Mangalik makes you the victim of your spouse's basically your spouse takes the lead and you become victimized in the marriage through no fault of your own.
Right.
And it's not a very happy position. It's whether you believe it or not. I mean, if you have Mangalik, there is a solution. And it's a very simple one. If you have a Mangalik condition, marry somebody who also has Mangalik. Because a Mangalik person does not have the capacity to victimize their spouse. So marrying somebody else who has that condition as well means you are both very quietly, one is not dominating the other. And this works because in Vedic society, they would arrange marriages and they would find a chart. You know, like nowadays, I'm like, I have Mangalik dosha, I'm not doing an arranged marriage. And so I guess I'm just stuck with it. In which case, you know, you leave it to Krishna, you work, you know, at the end of the day, it is a personal conversation. Mm-hmm. So that's Mangalik dosha right there. That's what basically Mangalik dosha means, is that you're the kind of softer person that will not really...
I thought it was the opposite though, because it's Mars.
No, it's the lack of Mars.
Oh. Okay.
You see, it will be an affliction of Mars where you don't have that fiery nature to be the dominant. Not, I wouldn't say that, like, you know, husband-wife relationships. There's always a little elbowing. Mm-hmm. Mangalik dosha will remove your elbows, so you're just getting elbowed by the wife. Through no fault of your own. You don't have that ability. You probably think, I don't want to be that kind of person, or I'll just say, I'll be okay, I'll be quiet, and...
Or maybe it's just like, I'm crazy for thinking this, I'm going to ignore
it, or
whatever.
It's just how you are raised by your conditions and your samskaras, you know, and that's where you get to. Mm-hmm. But, and there's always a but, it is no excuse for you not to have that inner conversation with yourself. Your astrology is, like I always say, a default setting in a game. You choose how many points you invest into the magic, into the strength, into the dexterity, into the knowledge, into the health, like that's you focusing on your life. Because I heard from a very good astrologer once that you could have the best chart in the world and you will still end up in divorce. Mm-hmm. You can have a terrible chart, Mangalik, Kalasarpa dosha, everything, and you can have a relationship that lasts decades. Because all an astrological compatibility chart does is measure your compatibility. The rest is up to you. The chart's not going to pay your bills. The chart is not going to have the bedroom conversations. The chart is not going to make you love your partner. The chart is not going to feel for you. You have to do all of that work, and that makes all of the difference in the world. So regardless of chart or not, that's why you see these things before, because then you're going to know. It's kind of like going into the shop and knowing how much you got to pay for a price rather than at the checkout, or like you walk away and they charge you your account later. You don't know. And I guess if you have enough money, you're good. But if you're kind of on a budget, emotional budget, you kind of want to know, is this person going to be compatible with me? How much heart do I have to spend for this person? Will it be an asset or not? So that's my opinion on astrology and relationship. And that's really where it should end in our Krishna consciousness. Are we compatible? We should first see, like, are we serving together?
Yeah.
Right? See our charts, are we okay? If we're not, but then we work well together in Krishna consciousness, then, you can work on it together, and then at the very end, leave it to Krishna. That should be the best kind of relationship. And I'm not one to talk because I'm not in a relationship myself, so I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, but you've witnessed relationships.
Yes,
you've never seen a relationship.
I never understand if when my opinions on relationships actually have merit, because I have not been in one. So does that have? Do you think that makes sense? Is that an observation that makes sense without having to be in one? Because I can understand being in a relationship is tough. Like, you have to do the work, the daily grind, day in, day out. And some days you just want to, I don't know. Is that how it works out? What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I like what you said about it being the astrology is the base camp and you need to do the work from there. Because a lot of people are like, oh, I'm Mangalik dosha, I'm out, or like, oh, I have all these bad things in my chart, therefore I'll never do this and I won't do that, or it's an excuse, it's a cop-out of from living life, which it shouldn't
be at all, but get your chart done. You know what? Regardless, I love charts. I love it. You got your planets, and you got your symbols, and you got your weird little diagrams. I find it fascinating. I love it. I'm so easy to be brainwashed. You just put anything interesting in front of my face, I will totally buy it. I will totally buy it. I once bought a subscription to, what was it? It was some weird workout that if you do this weird workout, it'll activate different parts of your brain, and I was like, sure. They really sold me on it, so I don't know. It was really fun. But I think astrology is great. I have books on it. I love it. I'm one of those hippie style believers.
Nice.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Any other comments? Anything?
I don't know. I'm just trying to, because they want to know, do you take the precautions? I think it should be, if you're already in the relationship, right? No amount of astrology is really, you know what I mean? You'll already have some awareness of what your problem is.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And surrendering to Krishna, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Surrendering to Krishna, I find, is such a...
It's cliche.
It's cliche. It's so cliche. Can we stop just putting surrendering to Krishna? Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
Surrender doesn't mean you give up. Again, semantics. Let's get rid of the word surrender to Krishna.
Really,
let's just
I feel okay, so we see with devotees, relationships fail. We can say there is in our community a large amount of narcissism on the men's part. we have very narcissistic
Can
men. Not all.
Okay, fine. No, you know what? Let's just take it. Let's just take the comment. Okay, fine.
But I'm just saying, we see a lot of abuse within devotee relationships in our community. I'm just being honest here, right?
Okay.
And it's in large part because men are very narcissistic, and I think men are trained to be narcissistic.
Are they though? Like, where are they training this? Like, show me the narcissistic school. That's like, okay, guys, for class, we are gonna be narcissistic. Like, are we being trained that way?
Because the training is actually on the women's part. Like, so it'll be like, there's, like, I'll tell you, this is like my, like, this is something I can't stand, but there's so much, like, I don't know a different word for training, but there's indoctrination,
wow.
Yes, right? Where women have to tolerate men no matter what they do. And they give all these examples in Bhagavatam of the most horrible men and all the horrible things they do, and you must tolerate. You know, this is literally how women are trained.
Well, so yes, I've seen those comments,
but I've never seen like this is how men should. You know.
But it's there. You look at Srila Prabhupada's comment. It's there. You have to protect the woman. You have to take care of the woman. You have to make sure that she's happy. You have to. Prabhupada is very clear.
But
when you get married,
like
you have to like
a men's training seminar. That's what I'm saying. There's always like, you know, women, mothers are masters. There's always like all these seminars on how to be a proper woman, and I don't see the same thing for men. And we're always told, just tolerate. Whatever it is, just tolerate. And what about, look at Pishima. Pishima tolerated so much. And look at this person. She tolerated so much. And all these women. And somehow you'll find your glory one day, you know?
Okay.
But with men, it's not like, you know, get along with your wife. Here's these examples
I disagree. I think it's there. I think for those marriages that, like, do not work out, the man just doesn't remember his seminar. You know, like, I could go to a seminar and not care. I could nod my head and do all the tests and exams. I just don't think that there's a proper space. I mean, rather than there being training for men, I think there's a lack of training. I think there's not enough training going on to understand how to really improve our grihasta.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah,
but it should be combined. It should be like real, like, but not like, you know, even if he beats you, cut off your arm, scoop out your eyes, offer it at his feet, you know, it's like, and you're just sitting here like you'll never be good enough, you know?
But like, okay, if you're a woman in that situation.
If I was a woman.
I mean, no, if you were a woman in that situation. Like, why would you say yes to marrying that man? Tell me.
Sometimes you don't know it at the time. People present themselves differently in the beginning.
Yes, so it's like I'm so paranoid about relationships. Like that's like maybe that's why I'm not in one. I am so worried about being exactly that type of situation where it's just like complete misery that I want to fine tooth check every single person that comes in and out of my life.
Yeah.
I couldn't just be like, okay, you know, and then like later,
like me. You like me? I guess I like you too. Let's get married. Woo! And you're married at 20. And you have no idea what you're doing.
I feel I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this, and I do apologize. But I think that at some range of this conversation, which is very controversial and divisive, and that I would love to get into further conversation on, there is a small slice of the pie where, I mean, I'm not saying it's the answer, but we can try and help reduce it by also not being, I mean, why would you not thoroughly look into someone you're going to be spending the rest of it? And I can say this to the men as much as the women. A lot of men are be like, my wife, she doesn't, blah, blah, blah. And you could be totally wrong, right? Your wife is doing a great job and you're the selfish one, fine. Yeah. But then why did you accept such a wife? Right?
Yeah.
Same thing with the wife. Oh, he's this and he's that and he's this and he's that. Why did you say yes to me? Oh, my parents said, Like, unfortunately, life is that kind of energy where if you do not take full control, which basically means being present in every decision, then the decision will be made for you. Mm-hmm. And you just have to live with that. And I guess some people even do that and end up being surprised later on, but I'm seeing a lot of the majority now is just like, we don't know how to pick our partners. You know, it's just like, oh, we went to high school. Okay, I see a lot of relationships now.
He's the best redundant player in the kirtan.
Oh my God. He's like, well, he dressed, Bhagavad Bunty was on point. You know, it's just like, like, I was having this conversation with another friend of mine actually on relationships. It's like, again, what does a relationship mean? What is the goal? Are you looking at the 20-year, 30-year plan? And I see a lot of people like, no, I want to see first, and then maybe we'll get married. Maybe, I don't know if I'm ready, if she's the right person, if he's the right kind of guy. I don't know, and I want to see, and I want to see, I want to see, I want to see. What do you want to see? Mm-hmm. When is your point of, like, I have a list. I want to see 3 things, and when I see those 3 things, oh, now I know I can commit. But it's always just seeing.
Yeah.
You need to plan. Bringing back to the queen, because we're on queen theme. You know? Her death was planned in the 60s, right? So that's what, 62 years ago, if you take it 1960, right? The monarch, when she dies, it's not going to be like, oh my God, now what? Mm-hmm. It's like as soon as the moment she her last crust of breath goes out, boom, we already have teams of people already engaged in pre-planned, pre-detailed, pre-revised plans that get set into place so that the new King Charles can just step in smoothly. The kingdom doesn't get destabilized with the chaos of the death of a monarch, because, you know, now the London Stock Exchange is closed, so the finances going everywhere. We have to do the same with our relationships. Like, I'm gonna marry this person, I need to smoothly transition into the next phase of my life. And I think that's something to be worried about in our relationships. And if you are in a relationship right now that is not satisfactory, I bring it back to therapy. Speak to someone. You'd be surprised.
Both of you, if you can.
Both of you.
If you can.
If not to each other, which is what it should be, and I mean, it doesn't always work. It's incredible how cathartic just a conversation can be. Somebody to listen and say, you know what? I need to talk about something. Because you hold it in, you hold it in, you hold it in, you hold it in. You know, like, speak, plan. Don't sit there and I'm very much against, that's why I'm also a psycho. I've taken it to the other extreme, where I don't like letting life get the better of me. If I'm in a problem, I want to analyze and overanalyze and try to change everything. I can't just let myself be dragged along in the situation.
Right.
Let's say I'm in a bad marriage. Fine, this person is not capable of doing anything, but let's adjust from 95%, you know, drama. Let's bring it down to 85, and I'll be grateful for every single 10% that I get. You know, I can't just be that, oh, it won't be perfect overnight, or it won't be perfect in the foreseeable future. Then, oh, well, surrender. You know, like, be present in your decision making. Mm-hmm. That's the only way I feel I could really stop myself from being overwhelmed, you know? And that's it. That's pretty much what I got, you know?
Yeah. I think that's good advice for, like, starting a relationship, you know? Like, you need to not ask, like, what's your favorite color? How many siblings do you have? But be like, what's your 5-year plan? You know?
Yeah,
what kind of career do you want for yourself, and how are you working toward it?
I would even take it further.
You know what I mean?
No, I'll make that person get rid. Where do you see us going? Well, you have your 5-year plan, you know. I have mine.
Well, if the 5-year plan doesn't include a wife and a child or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, you know, maybe it's not so serious.
Our marriage is not going to stop me going after my goal, so where are we going? You know? Yeah. Where do you see us? How do you feel us? And talk about the weird stuff, like, you know, what are some of the things you don't accept in it? What are some of the things that you would like to see? How can I serve you? Because eventually it's 2 servants, right? What are you looking out of this relationship? What are you looking for from me? What are your insecurities? Are you the kind of person that is in this relationship because you feel lonely and therefore you want me to be more present with you physically or emotionally? Are you the kind of person who has a thing on power and you need us to really progress functionally in a relationship? Like, what is your lock to the key? It's like, I love you! I love you too! And then it's like, that's it. And then love goes like this. And then when it goes like this, it's like, wait, what were we doing again? It's
I thought I knew everything about him. I know his favorite color and his favorite movie.
Yeah, but like, who is he as a person?
But it's exactly. Yeah. That's exactly the point. But I think if you're in a relationship already and it's really not working out, quit. No, I'm just kidding. Get out! Leave!
You didn't hear it from me. Skip town, change your name, new passport, never come back.
For a relationship to maintain itself, there must be some humility on both sides.
Wow, yes.
There must be humility.
I can't say that word here. I've been told I
where
can't say
you
certain
think,
words.
what did I do that this person may be this way? And they should also think, what did I do? Because sometimes you're like, maybe I'm doing this, maybe I'm doing that. And they're just like, yeah, you're the worst. And then that's that narcissism that comes back again where they kind of have you by the chokehold in that relationship. Both parties have to be humble. And then you can communicate. Then you can fix the things you need to work on. And then you can progress with your relationship materially, spiritually, whatever. You know, look at where you're lacking and see how you can improve. If you don't have the humility, you're going to be hitting a roadblock every time. So that, to me, is why relationships don't work out.
I want to add a final thought.
Yeah.
You're talking about surrendering to Krishna, right? This person was saying.
Yeah.
It's very funny because I often find that when people say surrender to Krishna, it's just a energy of giving up, right? We always think of Draupadi. That's just like our visual for surrender, where she kind of just like gave up everything and that was her. I feel in relationships, you know, I like that you said humility, because humility can take us past ourselves and look at the situation from a very zoomed out view. Yeah. When we're talking about surrendering to Krishna in a relationship, I have found that Krishna very cheekily likes to put very specific tests in front of us. Let's say you're the kind of person with a partner who is very distant and uncommunicative, and you are feeling the pangs of that in the relationship, but if you zoom out, have you noticed that you attract this pattern? Have you noticed that your partner is distant and uncommunicative, and that is something that the test keeps coming around again because you haven't passed it? You know what I mean? Like, and each person goes through their own little test. It's like the kind of, if you zoom out and see the kind of patterns you're swimming in, you can easily snap out of them. It just takes the courage, the humility, to kind of be like, there's the humility between you and your partner, there's the humility between you and Krishna, because Krishna gave you the partner, right? It's like, okay, Krishna, what do you want me to learn from this experience? And then you can really dive under it. I've seen this time and again, like, what is the actual lesson here? It's that the person is uncommunicative, my spouse is uncommunicative and distant, or I can't find the words to connect the lesson as to why I'm feeling frustrated in the relationship because of the distance, which is causing the distance, or what am I not seeing that is creating this situation? It's like wider vision. Yeah. Then you can sweep the whole table in one go. You don't have to worry about one tiny little issue. You just get rid of a whole bunch in one. So I think surrendering to Krishna doesn't mean putting in no effort and leaving Krishna to do all the hard work that you're too lazy to do. It's about surrendering to Krishna and doing double the work. It's about saying, Krishna, I trust in you so much that I'm going to do every single thing right, just like you said. I'm going to really focus to make heartfelt my intention to do my job properly. You please take care of the rest. I know you will take care of me because I am the one in the righteous place. Externally, I'm going through some trouble right now, and there's some things I will not put up with because I believe that I am worth this much, but I'm going to do my value, and Krishna, you take care of this. Watch, he listens. He listens. And that's all I got to say on that. Yeah. Single and not in a relationship. Well,
let's wrap it up. Then please be sure to check out the links below to find out more about us.
Thank you everyone for watching our show.
Be good to each other and don't forget to be good to yourselves. And
thank you for being damn good.
And here it is, this week's Harinam.
Jai Harbo.